Hey guys, I'm Michael.
And I'm CJ, and we are casting.
And such.
Today's topic is Harry Potter. We're going to do another vague, chatty, mostly unformatted.
Just
chill.
going for it.
I'm going to call it episode, but do you get episodes of a podcast? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Cool.
You can episode a podcast.
So it's a mostly unscripted, unstructured episode.
Yeah, just to sort of chat about Harry Potter stuff.
Yeah, we're in the mood for having a chat.
We'll get a little bit more in depth with Harry Potter in the future.
And there's, even the things that we do mention today, I'm sure there are ways that we could go more specific into them depending on what folk wanted.
Oh, very much so.
But we're just feeling in the mood for a chat, to be honest.
Yeah, just sort of a little bit of just airing it out.
Yeah, we're both at various stages in our Harry Potter experiences, our Harry Potter pathways.
Yes, you're at the end.
No, you're
Not at
never.
the end.
You're never at the
No.
end. We've both experienced Harry Potter for a different length of time. We both approached it in different ways.
Yep.
And yeah, I think this is hopefully going to be one of those where it's nice to have two different experiences.
Yeah.
Although a lot of the stuff we will probably agree on because we spend a lot of time together.
Yep.
Funny old thing.
Mm.
And in a way, the more time you spend with someone, I feel like your opinions become closer.
Yeah.
Or you find it easier to incorporate the other person's opinions into your opinions on things.
Yeah, you just sort of know where it comes from and you can understand it.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, you read the books first before you'd seen any of the films.
Well, I read the books that were out
Yeah.
at the time. So, like, the first book will have come out before the first book. The first movie will have come out before some of the later books.
But you'd read the book of the film before the film came out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hadn't. I think I'd read maybe a couple bits here or there, but I'd definitely seen all the films before I'd read all the books. I've still not actually finished all the books. I'm still working my way through them because I'm a very slow reader and I want to take my time and appreciate things. But I also like to jump between book series. So I recently finished Goblet of Fire, but I'm now on reading the Tales of the Arabian Nights, and then I'm most likely going to go on to a Star Wars book before I go back to Harry Potter.
Yeah.
So.
Whereas I pick a series and I stick with that series and I keep going with it, because once I'm immersed in a book series, I sort of forget about everything else that exists.
Yeah.
Harry Potter being the exception to that, though, because I will always know what's happening in the Harry Potter world and can jump in at pretty much any point.
Yeah.
But I think that's just because of the type of books that they are.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is with obviously the first 4 books, at least I've noticed, books 2, 3 and 4 all start pretty much the same, where you're reintroduced into the entire thing, and for at least the first 10 chapters it keeps telling you about stuff that's happened in the previous books.
Yeah, because I've noticed that a lot of children's and young adult books do that.
Yeah.
Especially a lot of longer series, that's what they do.
Yeah, and it sort of makes sense to obviously just give everyone a quick recap.
Yeah.
Because especially like with some of them there would have been a bigger gap between them. But then when you get to Order of the Phoenix, like, it's to that point where you would, like, to get yourself properly back in tune, you would need to reread the other books.
Yeah, there's only so many key points. So, like, I'm pretty sure the Order of the Phoenix will be like, yeah, Voldemort's back, woo! Because that's, like, the main point that happened in the previous book.
Yay!
But it's not going to be like, remember that time when Harry saw him in a mirror, and then remember that time, and then remember... Yeah, they're gonna have to condense that.
Yeah, in year 1, Harry fought Voldemort in front of the Mirror of Erised, and such happened, and he had the Philosopher's Stone in his pocket. Like,
and you're like, that's unimportant, Voldemort's literally alive again.
Yeah, it's like, just forget that. So we're going to obviously start off with just something quite simple.
And something that we tend to start off general chats with.
Yeah, and it's our favourite characters. Our favourite Harry Potter characters, obviously. I've experienced some characters in, less of certain characters anyway. Like, a book Ginny doesn't really come into being much of a thing until book 5, am I right? Because I've not really seen much of book Ginny, except for book 2. But obviously she's under, Tom Riddle's spell at that point, so... there's not really much we can do there.
And, like, there are people who would say, myself not included, that, like, Ginny's their favourite character, but they would have to specify whether they mean movie Ginny or book Ginny.
Yeah.
Because they are two very different people.
Yeah. But obviously the characters from 5, 6 and 7 I've not experienced quite as much.
Yeah.
But they're not... Well, one of them's in my top 3. But I know her from the film, so that's enough. would you like to start being the resident Harry Potter expert here?
Woo! Resident as in between
As in
Michael
Resident
and
Evil.
the cupboard.
As in Resident Evil.
I am evil.
Yes.
I am the Resident Evil. No. So one of my faves is Luna,
Yes.
who I think is our shared
Yeah, that's our shared favourite.
fave. She is a cinnamon bun.
She's so nice. She's just
Yeah.
the nicest character.
Do you know one of the things I really like about her? She's had that like quite tragic thing, like that tragic point that's happened to her, and other characters would use that as an excuse for being not very nice
Yeah.
and to excuse away any bad things they do. But she just doesn't mean any harm to anyone,
No.
regardless of what her. In fact, I would say because of what her backstory is.
Yeah.
She is such a pure character who just... I know some people think she's crazy, and it's easy for a lot of characters to, walk over, or she's like loony Luna Lovegood.
Yeah.
But she's just...
It's just that she's the perfect friend.
Yes.
She treats...
That is exactly what she is.
And it's the thing of, obviously, everyone, like, Ron and Hermione have known Harry since the very beginning. They know all the tragic stuff about him. And everyone else treats him as, famous Harry Potter or this.
He's the
Harry
chosen
Potter.
one.
Yeah. Luna just treats him as just another student at Hogwarts. He's just a friend.
Yeah.
He's not famous Harry Potter. He's not the chosen one. He's not the person who saw Cedric Diggory die. He's not the person who saw Lord Voldemort return. He's just Harry. That's it.
Yep.
And that's kind of what we needed.
Yep.
Just someone who just sees him for being a boy.
Yeah. And she has got that little bit of, like, what you could call craziness, with her rack spurts and her
Yeah, but that's fun.
crumple-horned Snorlax. It's not a
Snorlax.
Snorlax. But she just...
That's why we love her.
Yeah, like, but she's not doing anyone any harm with that.
No.
And maybe it's just that we're not open-minded enough
Yeah.
to, like, get with her. But I think that's actually a really good thing about her, is that it shows that even though, the magical world's very, open-minded and they're like, oh, they believe in all this magical stuff, there's still stuff that they're close-minded about and that's too far-fetched for even them to
Yeah, of course.
appreciate. So it's nice to have that aspect. So yeah, Luna, who's kind of a joint.
Joint shared?
Yep.
Do you want to say...
So my other
Go on.
fave is McGonagall.
Yes.
The bamf that is Minerva McGonagall.
Possibly the best teacher. Probably the best teacher that Harry had.
Yes.
At any point, including Lupin, who I would say is the second best teacher he had at any... Flitwick?
Maybe.
Who do you think is the other one?
I'm not sure.
Okay. I like to think he's a good teacher, but obviously he's biased because he's Harry and he knows Harry.
Yeah.
Well, he knows Harry, but Harry doesn't know he knows Harry.
Yeah.
Yeah, McGonagall's just the best teacher.
She is. She's just a fantastic human. She's not without her flaws. She is still biased towards her Gryffindors and stuff, and we do know that bit about her past where she was still biased to them then.
Yeah.
But I think, regardless, she would still fight to the death for any of her students.
Yep.
No matter what house they came from, no matter how much of a little pain in the butt they were to her in class. And I think she's probably just a very good teacher.
I'm pretty sure if someone stepped up in front of Malfoy to hurt him, she would jump in.
Yeah. Well, Mad-Eye Moody turned him into a ferret and she stopped him.
Yeah, but I think that was less about it being Malfoy, just that...
No, but it was. She could easily have turned a blind eye and walked on and gone, Moody's there, he's a teacher, he can deal with it. But she didn't. She interrupted.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just, as a character, and the fact that she is played by Dame Maggie Smith, I think
Maggie.
that solidified it for me.
The woman that battled leukemia, was it?
Breast cancer.
Breast cancer.
Maybe. The woman battled cancer and still filmed.
Yeah. Like, it takes a lot to do that.
Takes a lot to do anything.
Yeah.
She
did it.
was just fantastic.
She's really good. She's just perfect casting.
Absolutely perfect casting.
One of those, like, there's a few people in Harry Potter that were perfectly casted. She is one of them.
Yes. Evanna Lynch is also another one.
Yes.
Ironically, one of our other favourite characters.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much that actually impacts on why they're our favourites. Is because they were so perfectly cast, so they were brought to life really well.
Yeah.
Because Evanna Lynch is Luna.
Yes.
She just is.
Yeah.
The same way that Dame Maggie Smith is very much Minerva McGonagall.
Yeah, every time I sort of read through, and every time I picture McGonagall, obviously having seen the films first, it's kind of biased.
Yeah.
But like you start to picture them.
Oh no, even still, like, anytime I've done a reread of Philosopher's Stone, which is fairly often, or any of the other books,
Yeah.
I now see Minerva McGonagall as Dame Maggie Smith.
Yeah.
It can't be helped.
No.
It absolutely cannot be helped. Have you got any favourites you would like to add to the list before I give one of my final favourites?
Well, as I said, Remus Lupin.
Yes.
I really like Remus Lupin because he's just... Yeah, he's a little bit biased with sort of helping Harry when he becomes a Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. But he helps out all the students as well. And he's very much... He's still a marauder at heart. He's still a student at heart. And he's very much about having fun.
Yeah.
So that's why he's got... Like, the boggart is obviously a very good thing to teach them about.
Yeah, he uses good teaching methods.
Yes.
He seems like he would be a good teacher to have.
Yeah. And it's also like, obviously in the book, he takes them to the staff room instead of just like moving all the chairs in the Defense Against the Dark Arts room. And he's possibly the best Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher they had.
Probably.
I would say. We didn't know much about Quirrell. We never saw any of his lessons with Harry.
Yeah, that's true. We never really saw him teaching the first years.
No. The only class we saw him teaching was when he taught Oliver Wood.
And we never actually saw that class. We just saw the bit of it
just
when
saw him holding a lizard.
Interrupted.
Yeah. But Remus Lupin was a very good teacher. Very good.
Yeah.
And obviously him being a marauder as well. And one of the Order of the Phoenix.
And also a werewolf.
And a
Spoiler, which makes him automatically one of Michael's faves.
It's pretty cool. I like werewolves. I'm a fan of werewolves.
Apart from Fenrir, you're not a fan of him?
It's because he's, not a very pleasant person.
Yeah, I kind of don't blame you.
No, he's not really nice. Plus he looks kind of messed up. Probably because he's a werewolf. But it's also the kind of thing like... I remember the first sort of look we got of Lupin in Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah.
When you just hear that he's sort of there on the seat and he looks like he's very tired and in the ragged clothes and stuff like that. And you're just like, oh, he must not be a very good person. He might not be a great wizard. And then he's just so badass.
Yeah.
So I like Lupin. Who's your last favourite?
So my last favourite, I'm going to give you the little backstory to this before I tell you who it is. Mm-hmm. So I was very fortunate in that I got to see one of the first showings of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stones in cinema. Mm-hmm. I can't remember how we ended up going to see it, but I went to see it with my mum and Rachel. And we got interviewed for one of the wee newspapers for a little clip they were doing on the premiere.
Nice.
And one of the things that they asked was our favourite characters. And the one that I gave, and it's the one that I maintain to this day, is Hagrid. Because he is the only person that literally has nothing but Harry's best interests at heart. Yep. He never means any harm to anyone. He's just this, and he looks like someone you should be scared of. But he's very much not. And I think what I actually said in that, I was like, oh, we see this big, giant, scary man who we think should be scary, and then he turns out to be one of the loveliest characters.
Yeah.
And I just love him. And I think he's another one where the casting was pretty perfect.
Mm-hmm. Robbie Coltrane's pretty good.
And
the voice is good.
Yeah. And the love he has for animals as well, just... There's something about Hagrid. And he's not perfect.
It's the gentle giant
thing. He's not perfect. He has a lot of flaws. Some of the information he lets slip gets Harry in quite a bit of trouble.
Yep.
But he never means anything maliciously, and all he wants to do is to protect the school and all his pupils, and Albus Dumbledore, who he holds a lot of respect for.
Yes.
And when he holds a lot of respect for someone, he will go to the ends of the earth for that person.
That's one of the things that keeps resonating throughout every single book, is Hagrid's respect for Dumbledore.
Yep.
From the very first time we meet him out in that shack, it's, Vernon insults him and he's like, nobody ever insults Dumbledore in front of me. Mm-hmm. And then in the second film you hear about obviously Hagrid getting his second chance with being the groundskeeper.
Yep, Albus Dumbledore got me this job.
Exactly. Don't hear much in Prisoner of Azkaban.
And even Dumbledore is there when Hagrid gets shipped off to Azkaban.
Exactly.
Hagrid doesn't ever hold that against him because he knows. He could have been like, oh, Dumbledore, I like held you in such high regard, and you were like, I looked up to you, and you never saved me when they shipped me off to Azkaban.
Yeah.
But he's just like, it had to happen. That was, like, he blamed the right people for it. At no point did he ever take it out on Dumbledore. And Dumbledore, by no means, like, he's not a perfect character either.
No.
He has a lot of flaws and drawbacks, and he's a flawed human.
Mm-hmm.
But Hagrid still has a lot of respect for him, and he's a very respectful, gentle giant.
Yeah.
Half giant.
Yes.
But yeah, just a Hagrid.
So it's quite funny because when I asked you this a long time ago, the character was different. I remember you saying obviously Hagrid being one of your favourites,
Yes.
but the other favourite character you have was Narcissa.
Yep, Narcissa is still very much high up there.
Mm-hmm.
If we were giving more than 3 favourites, she would probably have been the next character I gave. She's very much that, like, motherly figure where, yeah, she's not one of the good guys. I think the thing that stands out with me for Narcissa is that she's my first not, like, Order of the Phoenix on the light side character.
Yeah.
She is one of the Death Eaters. She's the wife of a Death Eater. She is known to fraternise with the enemy that is Voldemort.
Yes.
But at the same time, she's still got that motherly instinct.
Yeah, she's just forever about protecting Draco.
It's her family that she's out to save.
Yeah.
Like, to the point where, spoiler alert, in the last, like, book, she literally is like, I don't care about Voldemort's beef with Harry. Yeah, I'll tell Voldemort that Harry's dead when he's not. All she wants to know about is that her son is safe.
Yeah.
And it's the fact that even though she is, you know, in inverted commas, that evil one,
Yeah.
and she's not a nice person. We see her described by Harry, and I think it's the Goblet of Fire, is like basically someone whose nose is always in there, as if she smells something disgusting underneath it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the look she has on her face. She's very much pure blood aristocracy,
Yeah.
but there's still that base instinct of wanting to protect her family, and I have a lot of respect for her because of that. And I can't help but wonder that she ends up in this situation of being in the Dark Lord's side because she thinks that's the most sensible thing to do to protect her family,
Yeah.
because she sees him as the more powerful.
Yeah. Because there's a lot riding on Harry to beat Voldemort,
Yeah.
and like a lot of that could have fell through.
Yep.
So yeah, I can understand that.
So yeah, there's just something about her. But I'd say that is maybe more movie based than book based, because book Narcissa we don't see much about until the last couple of books.
Yeah.
Although she does shine through in the 6th book, where she is not above begging to Snape
Oh man.
again to save her son.
Yeah, of course.
It's
'Cause
all
she
very
makes
much
the-
that motherly. She
the
makes an unbreakable
the
vow
unbreakable
with him.
vow.
Like, it's all very much about saving her son, even though he is a little so and so.
Yeah.
But I think Hagrid has been a favourite since the first time I ever saw
Yeah, since you're...
Philosopher's Stone. So,
Yeah.
and also he's like the only person who's basically like a parent to Harry, and he never gets the credit for it.
Yeah.
It's always like, oh, you know, the Weasleys are my family. They're like my parents, and you're like, what about Hagrid?
Yeah. He's the one that like...
He literally took you.
He's the one that took you from Godric's Hollow to, you know, the Dursleys.
Yeah.
On a flying on Sirius's flying motorcycle, no less.
Yes. I don't know. There's something about Hagrid that I just feel
Yeah.
is, yeah, it's pretty solid. So what about you? I've done a lot of talking so far.
Yeah. My 3rd and 4th favourite characters. Now I'm doing that because
They're
like
tied.
they are
It's exactly
very
who
much
I think
tied.
it's going to be.
Arthur and Molly Weasley.
Yeah.
Because very much for the same reasons as Narcissa.
Yep.
Family comes first.
Yeah.
One bit that resonates with me throughout all the films that I saw is...
Is it the not my daughter?
No, not... That bit is good. Don't get me wrong, that bit where Bellatrix threatens Ginny and Molly goes for her, that bit's astounding.
She doesn't just go for her. She doesn't even use she shatters her.
Yeah. No. The one bit that gets me is... I think it's Deathly Hallows Part 1 with the burrow.
Mm-hmm.
Burrow goes on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they all obviously chase after Harry into the woods where there's the Death Eaters. I believe Fenrir's there as well.
Yeah.
But it's just after Bill's wedding, I think, when they're at the celebrations at night. So they all...
No, that's a different bit.
Okay then. Either way, they're all chasing Harry into the plants.
I'd like to point out that bit isn't in the book. That's a movie only bit.
Okay.
Is when the Death Eaters surround the burrow. That's
Yeah.
movie only. That's not in the book.
And then they're all in the plants. but everyone else, a few people stay at the house, and then a bunch of the Death Eaters just start setting the burrow ablaze. Arthur turns round, and the first thing he says is Molly. That really resonates, because it's just like the first thing to jump to his head is just his wife, and that's because, you know, not only is it the family, but it's like that she cares so much about the family as well. It's like she wants to make sure she's okay, even if it's not about, you know, if she's injured. If another member of the family is injured, that would make her so much more distraught.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with Molly as well. When they cleared out Grimmauld Place to get the order going again, she had to clear out the boggart.
That scene is a really harrowing bit. Her boggart, I think, is one of the scariest.
It's one of the most frightening.
And it's one of the realest, I think.
Yeah, because it's not even just her family. It's Harry and Hermione as well, who she considers
that's
family.
The thing. It's her actual family.
Yeah.
Because it's not just her blood family. It's her family. It's the community that she has that are her family.
Yeah. And like, that's just so... family is just such a big thing with Molly. But then Arthur is so supportive of everything. He understands where all the other, you know, he's ready to have a joke with Fred and George as well. Like, oh, how did the car fly when you rescued Harry?
Yeah.
But he knows his place as their dad.
Yeah.
And he's also, a lot of the time, he's very much like, you know, stay here. It's dangerous, or don't do this. It's dangerous. Because he knows. Because he was around at the time of Voldemort.
Yeah.
He knows. He's worked for the Ministry as well, so he knows a lot of the ins and outs of the world as well.
Mm-hmm.
But he's fun as well.
Yeah.
What exactly is the function of a rubber duck?
You can't hear that line and not think, yes, Arthur.
Yeah. No, that's good.
So yeah.
Those two.
Good team. Good selection of characters.
Yeah. Right. Do you want to talk about your least favourite character? I know who it is. I know who the two are, actually.
Okay. Who are they, Michael?
They are Cornelius Fudge and Rufus Scrimgeour.
Nice. Scrimgeour,
sorry. Because they are useless.
Exactly.
They are the most useless. They have potentially the highest position of power in the wizarding world.
Mm-hmm.
And they do nothing about it.
Yep. do you know what I think it is, though?
Yeah.
Fudge makes me angrier than Rufus.
Mm-hmm.
Rufus isn't there very long before he's literally killed.
Yeah.
He doesn't get time to do much. He irritates me, especially in the movie with the whole reading of Dumbledore's will thing and trying to take Harry on as like the Ministry's poster child. You're like, that's just not sensible. That's just being stupid.
Yeah.
But Cornelius Fudge.
Yeah.
He just makes me angry.
Yeah.
That's all I can safely say before I start swearing. He makes me angry. He is too real a politician.
Yeah.
Far, far, far too real. And there are actual events that are happening, not just in the UK, you know, around the world, where there's always that one high-powered politician who just irks you.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent of, like...
Let's not get too political.
No, I'm trying not to name real names here. I'm trying to explain it without actually explaining it. Right, so my one example of that I always give, he literally denied Voldemort actually coming back and being alive.
Yeah.
And turned it into a witch hunt against Dumbledore and Harry. And do you know why that was? Twofold. One, he doesn't like Dumbledore. He doesn't like the fact that Dumbledore's smarter than him.
No.
He doesn't like that he holds more power, and he doesn't like that he has to rely on Dumbledore. Like, he sends Dumbledore owls and owls and owls and owls asking for advice and support and all sorts of stuff. He relies on Dumbledore because Dumbledore is better than him.
Yeah.
But also just fear.
Yeah.
And I get
the
whole being scared, but as a politician, it's not his job to be scared and to act purely out of fear.
Yeah.
He has to actually be level-headed about it and think about what the most sensible thing is. I think Fudge's actions in the 5th book are the reason Voldemort's comeback was so successful.
Yeah.
And I think he is the reason it fell on the head of a teenager.
Yeah, because Fudge very much could have went, right, Voldemort's back.
We're going to prepare as if he is back.
Yeah, let's round up all his followers that we know of.
Yeah.
shove him in Azkaban, double security on Azkaban,
Or even,
maybe not have the Dementors there anymore.
or even just let's give them a reasonable defence against the dark arts teacher to prepare the children instead of Dolores Umbridge, who between her and Fudge literally actually made everyone take a step back in being prepared as
Yeah.
kids to fight in a war that was about to become their war.
To be fair, that position was cursed.
Cursed.
So, useless politicians.
In fact, I would actually say that Umbridge makes me more mad than Scrimshire does.
Yeah, okay.
I would say it's Fudge and Umbridge.
Yeah, Fumbridge.
Fumbridge. I think that might actually be their ship name.
Oh god.
Or is it Fudgebridge? I think it's Fudgebridge.
That's ridiculous.
They're ridiculous.
Yeah.
Umbridge makes me so mad because she's supposed to be a teacher. She's not. She's
No.
Hitler.
No.
She's basically a Hitler.
Yeah.
She hates... How can anyone hate Firenze? How can you hate the Centaurs? What's wrong with you, women?
Yeah.
But, no. She is supposed to be a teacher and she doesn't. She hinders her pupils massively. She literally tortures them.
Yep.
She is a child abuser.
Yep.
Fudge is useless and she is a child abuser and it peeves me off.
Heh.
Get
Peeves.
it? Peeves. Least favourite characters, Michael?
My least favourite character, although he's very fitting for the position he's in, Wormtail. I don't like him. Because he betrayed his friends.
Yeah.
He betrayed his friends. And that was the biggest thing. It was... I very much hold the opinion that Sirius had in Prisoner of Azkaban.
I would have rather died than betrayed James and Lily.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like they were your friends and they betrayed you.
No,
They-
you betrayed them.
Or you betrayed them. Like, they were friends since school. I don't even know why Wormtail was friends with them as the Marauders. I get it was the whole thing of, like, helping Remus.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was involved very much heavily with that. But, still, I just don't like that he betrayed his friends because they were so close-knit, because they were all so close together.
Yeah. They were basically family.
Yeah. They were a small family. And, no, I just really don't like Wormtail. Because he's like so conniving. But again, that's his character.
That is his
He
role in the series, is
Mhm.
that character that you have to hate because he
Yeah.
betrayed them.
He fits his character very well.
He does.
Trelawney gets him a wick a little bit because she's fairly useless, and she's annoying because of.
I think it's more she should never. I understand why they had to, like, Dumbledore had to take her into the school to look after her, basically so he can protect her and make sure she doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
Yeah.
But what I don't understand is why she feels the need to, like, she is a very, very skilled seer.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is why she like has to do all the fraud stuff
Yeah.
and like be so fake when she could just be like, it's not all about being able to effectively read tea leaves and stuff, but she's just trying to get people to take her seriously, I think, because I don't think she realises how true a seer she actually is,
Yeah.
if you feel me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I swear there's got to be more characters. There's another one, like, he's not particularly a least favourite character, but just something about Lucius Malfoy, but it's very satisfying to see him sort of crumble. Because you see him from book 2, he's this, well done, very, like, holds himself in such high regard character. And then by the time you see him in, Deathly Hallows, he's jittery and, he looks like his forehead would be all greasy and sweaty, and he looks like he's not slept at all very well. And, like, as soon as Voldemort's near him, he's like, he's all, like, shaky, stuff like that. I wouldn't say that makes him my least favourite characters. I'd just say, like, I'm satisfied by seeing that.
Yeah. Fair points. Right, carrying on with a fave theme, which we seem to love to talk about. Favourite book and movie.
Oh, am I going first this time?
Yeah, buddy.
Right.
Left.
Right. Favourite book and movie. Now, obviously, they don't have to be the same.
Nope.
I really liked the books 2 and 4.
Okay.
Chamber of Secrets and Goblet of Fire. I used to really like the movie of Goblet of Fire, not so much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say the favourite movie is between 2 and 3.
Okay.
So obviously
two is a recurring theme.
we've got 2 as the recurring one, because I really like 2, because it's sort of like we get a lot more backstory about Voldemort. We're told in the first book, obviously, that he's this big powerful guy who did a lot of bad stuff before. But now we see that, like, you know, like Voldemort's gone, but his power still remains in the diary. Like, and he's still, like, causing trouble. And supposedly he will return, which he does later on. But it's not even like it's, you know, just him in the school that we need to worry about. It's not even his power that remains. There's the basilisk. Why he chooses that year to release it is beyond me.
Mm-hmm.
But I suppose it's because, like, you know, Quirrell...
The first plan didn't work.
Yeah, the first plan with Quirrell didn't work, so it's like, right, time to release a giant snake into the school to see if that works.
Yeah.
Why the snake didn't just keep going and kill everyone is beyond me. I suppose it would have got stopped at some point. It had to be fairly sneaky. And then obviously Aragog, who was a very intelligent creature.
I'm actually surprised that you've picked the second as your fave, given the amount of
Spiders.
arachnids in it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like, it was obviously the film. That bit with the film is obviously a lot creepier. In the book, it's easier to go past.
Yeah.
Or it's easier to
Because you
just...
can't actually see the spiders.
Yeah. And Aragog's just come across to be like a very, you know, very smart creature.
Which he is.
He is. He's very intelligent. And he wouldn't hurt anyone, according to Hagrid. His children, on the other hand...
Yeah.
Yeah. But... You know, it's... I like the book. I like it.
Good.
It's good. Now, I know what it is for you, but on you go.
Just so everybody else knows,
Yes.
my favourite book and movie are both Philosopher's Stone. They always have been and probably always will be.
Yep.
There's so many things I love about them. It's mostly just the fact that that is our first experience of magic when it's really pure. There's nothing too dark, but you are still getting that little edge of darkness. It's exactly what the Harry Potter series is, in that it's a kids. It's very much the characters are kids.
Yeah.
We see things from a kid's point of view. It's like a kid's wonderment at magic.
Yeah.
Because we're learning with Harry. We don't really know anything that he doesn't know because it's our first experience
Yeah.
of that magical world, the same way it is for Harry.
Yeah, sort of like reading it as a young adult, it's relatable.
Yeah, it's very, very relatable. And obviously, I do like the fact that the story evolves and it grows up as its readers grow up. And I think that you can still get a lot, like I do still get a lot out of reading it as unfortunately now grown up. Even though it is still a book intended and written specifically for young adults. And you can still get a lot out of it as an adult. But I feel like even as an adult reading it, you don't lose that sense of childish wonderment by getting distracted by all the, deeper, darker, greater running themes.
Yeah.
It's still really easy to see that core theme of just everything is wonderful and magical.
Yeah.
And you do still kind of get that in the second book, but there's spiders in the second movie, so sod that.
Yeah.
But no, there's just something about the first one that I don't think can be beaten.
No, I get where you're coming from with that. So sort of like, as you say, you're experiencing it with them.
Yeah. And it's also, I guess it's a nostalgia thing, because it's the one that we've had for the longest.
Yeah.
And while I read the first, second and third one at the same time, like I got it in a box set of 3, it's still the first one that you read first.
Of course.
And yeah, it's one of my favourite things to read, ever.
Yeah.
And on that note, we have exhausted very few Harry Potter subjects. There's so much more Harry Potter stuff we could talk about.
So much.
But I feel like we're nearing that time.
Yeah, I think it'd be good now, because then obviously it would still leave us quite a lot to talk about in other
Heck yeah.
areas. And we can talk about Harry Potter for a while.
Heck yeah. As with most of the things, which is why we decided a podcast was a good thing to do.
Exactly, yeah. And like, if there's sort of specific areas that you think we could talk about, or if there's anything you'd like us to talk about, just let us know in the comments. Just sort of, give us any ideas that you've got.
Yeah, anything you agree with, don't agree with opinion-wise, by all means, let us know.
Yeah, who are your favourite characters, and what's your favourite book? What do you remember about it specifically?
Yeah, we love hearing what you guys think about things.
Exactly. So
it's one of our favourite things.
Woo!
Woo! Sappy ending's over. So in the meantime...
Oh, I've been Michael.
And I have been CJ, and we have been casting.
And such.
Bye!
See ya.